Zlurpcast!
Look at this coaster. We'll talk about that in a second. Hi, Zlurpcast TV, Jonny P here. We have, let's see if I get this right because the order changed a bit. I think Mike is over here.
Yep.
Really? And I think Xtreme is above me.
Yes.
And I think Biran is in that corner.
Yep.
Look at that shit. It's like 25 episodes in. I finally got it, whatever it is. I love that. We're talking about Techno Bowl right now. Because I threw this one out there, get this out of the way, Zlurpcast.net. Get yourself some swag with the show logos and our characters and this thing, everything. Help support the show as well. Follow on social media at Zlurpcast. We're going to talk today about a different kind of game for the first time. If you've watched our other episodes, you know we cover miniature games. They could be called wargaming. Like wargaming is general. War games is kind of funny. Like war games is like a war game. But when you say wargaming, that could mean, you know, Guild Ball. That could mean Riot Quest, right? It's war gaming. They involve miniatures on a tabletop. Would you guys agree that's been our forte up until this point?
Yeah.
Except card games?
Yeah, it's with a card game.
Thank you. Oh, we did, yeah, that's right. We did Super Show card game. So bringing that up because today we're talking about a board game. It's called Techno Bowl or Techno Bowl because it's the video game style of Tecmo Bowl and NFL Blitz and even to a point NBA Jam, that kind of style of over-the-top sports on the tabletop. So there is no tech. It is Techno Bowl. But I want to talk about this game for many reasons. And we've already covered Blood Bowl, which is the most popular tabletop football game, right? I mean, outside of what were those games when we were kids? Like the
magnet football or whatever?
Ones, outside of that kind of stuff. For strategy games, board games. I mean, if you want to say football board games, Blood Bowl is still most popular even though it's not considered that. Would you agree with that?
Yeah.
Like Blood Bowl is, when people think football on tabletop, that's that game.
Yeah. I mean, everything's going to be compared to Blood Bowl even if it's a sports game.
Yeah.
With miniatures, it's going to be compared to it. So,
what about without miniatures, Mike? Would you still compare like that? To me, when I was learning Techno Bowl, and obviously we're going to get into all the nuts and bolts of everything, but I constantly compared to Blood Bowl. For Blitz Bowl, I compared it. For Dread Ball, I compared it to Blood Bowl. That's just kind of how, you know, I think when a game has similar mechanics, like the tackle zone mechanic or a area of opportunity, wherever you learned a certain type of mechanic in a game, you're going to compare that to games all the time. But obviously, we talked about those one before. They all involve miniatures. So there's a hobby aspect as well as the sports side of playing it. Techno Bowl, there is no miniatures. It is a pitch, a rollout neoprene pitch. You've got cards, which we'll talk about. A field?
Okay.
Sorry. Why am I saying pitch? See, Blood Bowl. It's still Blood Bowl to me all the time. This is the field, the more fun league, MFL. And there is a scoreboard. There is counters and tokens and all that. There are punch-out players with standees. There is also a variance with these cubes. We'll talk all about that as well. But this is a board game. This is a sports board game. And I keep hammering that because if you compare it to the miniature sports games we've talked about, that's totally fine. But there are many people that play this game that will never touch those other games we talked about just because do you think it's more common for miniature gamers and war gamers to try these kind of board games than the other way around?
Yes.
yes.
When we ran
Buy-in is easier.
Yeah, when we ran a league for Techno Bowl, we had people that played other board games and card games that played this. Did any of them play Blood Bowl?
They tried it.
Did they?
Yeah.
Didn't take?
Didn't you give a demo to the Bullshit Club, Mike? Or was that
Blood Bowl?
Yeah, or was that Blitz Bowl? I think they tried Blitz Bowl.
They actually have Blitz Bowl.
Yeah.
I might have given him a Blood Bowl demo. I might have. I don't remember.
I don't know. Maybe.
But
I know Spencer, I actually gave him the Dark Elf cards that came in the White Dwarf, so
nice.
He's got it.
See a good ROI on that investment there, Mike? I don't think so.
He's the bad Spencer.
So let's talk about Techno Bowl. It is a game that was on Kickstarter about 3 years ago, and made a couple notes here because, we've got some, not just history with the game itself, but history with the creation of that. So in talking to Brent Spivey, who created this game, this was his first board game he made, but many people might know him from some of the games he's worked on in the past. I've got here, where was it? Mike, you are familiar with Havoc?
Yeah.
Tactical Miniature Warfare. The Battlefield?
That one, no, but
Rogue Planet?
I find it shocking that this is his first board game.
That's allegedly, this is his first board game.
Yeah.
Because it is, we'll get into the review, but it is so well designed.
Well, so Brent Spivey, Bombshell Games is the name of his company. He had a history of miniature game rule sets. I think they were more along the lines of the use whatever miniatures you want kind of style, right?
Yeah.
And
Call that the Osprey style.
Yeah, Frostgrave and that kind of style. I think the story goes, and I think Brent told me this once, that a friend of him challenged him to, I bet you couldn't try to replicate Tecmo Bowl or NFL Blitz as a board game. And he took it as a challenge, and that's where it originated from. Because we talk about this all the time. When you play a video game, it's simultaneous. I'm playing Biran and Madden football. You're running with the ball. I'm trying to tackle you, simultaneous. That is impossible to do on a board game. How do you move shit at the same time? That's right.
Hungry Hippos. Case in point.
Yeah, exactly. There's no real way to do that. So the core mechanic of this game that allows as close to simultaneous as possible is the concept of a partial success. Because when you roll 2d6 for succeeding, if it is a 2 to 6, it is a failure. Opponent gets a free full action, full move, full everything. 7 to 9, partial success. You get to do the thing you were doing, but then your opponent gets to move a player half his movement. And then 10 or more, you get to do everything you want to do, and then a bonus kind of thing there. That, I think, is where the simultaneous simulation, or at least getting as close to it, comes into play. Because how many times do we play this game where you're trying to do a thing, you get a partial success, and then your opponent moves a box, a square, a standee, not a miniature, enough to foil your plans. That happens all the time. Was that the only thing you guys could think of in regards to Techno Bowl as far as the trying to do a simultaneous video game play?
I think it's perhaps one of the single most innovative parts of the game.
Yeah. So in Techno Bowl, you've got a team. They're all parody teams. We've been through that concept before. The monsters are like the Midway Mutants, the Bears. What is Green Bay, Mike? The Paybacks?
Yeah.
Greenbacks?
Greenbacks, yeah.
Greenbacks. The Kittens are the Lions. The Sushi is the Dolphins. So there's a full list of the parody teams. The
Pandas are the Panthers.
Panthers, yeah. This is a generic one. I don't have it there. But you're basically moving either cubes, pixel cubes, or the standees on here. You've got a team of 7 or 8, depending on what gameplay you do. But it is a straight-up football simulation. Blood Bowl is not a football simulation. Outside of picking up a ball and throwing it or running it for a touchdown, that's where the similarities with Blood Bowl and football end. It is. We haven't done Guild Ball yet, but how we joke, it's like a skirmish game with happens to be a ball and some goals there.
Yep.
That's one side of the extreme, pun intended, and we're going to call it a sports game, but it's not a sports game. This is the complete other side. This is 100%. If you love football, and I think if you like football video games, and you like the idea of trying to replicate a tabletop, you would love this game. Because
in comments down below, if you could think of any other sports game that really well authentically plays like the sport it's imitating. This is the only one I could think of that feels like the sport it's supposed to.
Obviously, we all love Battle Ball. It's $5 at KB Toys, no longer existing. Yeah, I just can't think of it. So this is it is a straight up football simulation of a game, and it's pretty wild as you set up. There are rules to setting up on offense and defense, and the plays are a little more audible-esque, where you're changing plays on the fly, but you still have a play in mind. You still have a thing you want to do in mind. There are some great videos out there, by the way. If you search on YouTube, Brent Spivey, Bombshell Games, you'll get him and his buddy playing a bunch in a Barnes & Noble. Ignore the last call for Starbucks in the speaker that happens in there a couple times.
Barnes & Noble serves Starbucks, but Barnes & Noble is not a Starbucks.
It is not a Starbucks. But they played the game, and they're going through all that stuff, talking it out as they play. But it is, as you play through it, I want to throw a term out there, a phrase, and see if you guys agree. And because 3 of the 4 of us played an entire league of this. And when I say a league, I mean all the teams in the game, all the NFL teams split up in different divisions. But this game is very complex, but I don't want to call it complicated. Would you guys agree?
Yeah, the rules were very, very, very easy to get the basic gist of it, but there were some subtleties that we didn't initially pick up on until like when Tony came and we're like, "Oh, this skill sucks." He goes, "No, it's great," and he would show us why it's great.
Or why are you leaving that guy on the bench because of this? Oh,
yeah. So it had some subtleties to it that weren't readily apparent at first, but.
Would you say it's a complicated game? And I'm going to say this because I haven't played. I'm guessing you guys too haven't played since our league.
No.
Okay. So that was, I think, in end of 2017 or beginning of 2018. Probably early 2018. Probably coincide with like the end of that season of football and the playoffs maybe. So it's been a long time, almost 3 years. I took the rule book out again a couple days ago, read through it, and there was a lot of, okay, I remember that, and this one like, wait, what is that again? And we have a good background with it because we played an entire league, so you learn a lot as the league goes on. But I think right out of the box, some might say this looks complicated because of the amount of, not just the skills, but how it goes. If you watch the videos and play a few times, I will say you get better and better and better every single game in. Not all games are like that. Games like 40K where there's a shit ton of dice, you don't really get better by playing more. You just play more. This is a game where the more you play, the better you get. Sometimes someone like a Tony in a game group might give you some new ideas. There was a post that I wrote to Brent on Board Game Geek where I mentioned about, I said, why is run block useful on Payday, which is like the Walter Payton character, when he's going to do juke? He's like, well, do a run block because you can do both in the same turn. And I'm like, well, yeah, but his stat is bad for blocking. That's why you use juke, the reverse of that. He's like, no, use the freezer, parry freezer to give him a bonus first, then do a run block, then do the juke on his normal one without modifiers because he already has a good enough ability on that. And I was like, oh, so it's very complicated example, but it was one of those where I don't know why it never clicked before to think this makes sense. So there is a very complex element to the gameplay, what you choose to do in the game, like your plays and your adjustments and your reacting to your opponent, and then the skills too. This is one where if we played today, we would be in this rule book nonstop, and it would be like a 3-hour game. But when we were playing our league, by the time we got to the end, like most of us, not Biran, because I think you bailed after the first schedule interval.
I did too.
Did too? Okay. Yep. We got pretty good at the end of it, but it's all gone. All that knowledge is gone now. And like I said, I'm reading the book and it's like, oh my God. So
The base rules are not overly complicated. So you can learn to play the game in about a half hour. But the skill ceiling is so high that, like, if you were to just be new to the game and play like a Tony, you would get crushed.
Right.
Because it's like you understand the mechanics of the game, but you don't understand the synergies.
Well, and I think that happened. So what we did a league at Grognard Games, and if someone wants to pshaw that, just kidding, we don't do that. But we did a league at Grognard. We had, all the teams. This is not. See if this comes up. Better now. Nope.
We'll take your word for it. Yeah, there you go.
There you go. So we played you can see who coached all those teams in there, the standings. Then we did playoffs. Then we did a final. We did the Grog Bowl there. But, we took this pretty seriously because there was a lot of interest. And people wanted to play multiple times. And so we said, this is a good way to do it. Like, I wanted to do really well with the Monsters because it's like the Bears and I'm on the team, which we'll talk about that. But I was like 500 with them. I ended up getting to the Grog Bowl and losing with the Tridents for the Titans. And it's because that was the last schedule I played, and I just got really good. But it took 4 divisions of schedules to be like, I know what the fuck I'm doing. Finally. And then we stopped playing. But that's what happened. And by the way, I want to talk about these pixel cubes because you can tell, and I don't want to go, we're talking more about how to get the game, but when we first started, this was my Bears cube. Look how shitty this looks. Like, it's just bad. And then by the time I got to my team that was good, it was just a lot cleaner. So not only did my ability in playing the game got better, my ability in arts and crafts and how to print it at a smaller amount, cut it over, do black marker. I got a lot better with that, taking this and making it a pixel cube.
Well, those cubes were far from perfect cubes. I bought a bunch of those too.
Oh yeah.
Before we get into the the components of the game and that stuff,
the hobby aspect of the game.
Yeah, there is a hobby aspect to it. Anything you guys want to go through as far as rules? Because 3 of us played a league. Xtreme, you and I were introduced at the same time at Gen Con. Spencer walked us over to see Brent's booth and try it out.
Spencer?
Spencer Harstead. Bad Spencer.
Bad Spencer, okay.
He I don't know if we would have saw it otherwise. You're usually more of the check it out guy to me than I am to you. Would you have found this game if he didn't show you?
Probably not. And it's a shame. But I did have a question for you, kind of on what you were talking on there, where you said there was a very high skill cap to the game. I definitely see that. But do you think it's a game that you get into, and the more you get into it, the more reward there is? And then once you get to that level, you have so much invested in it that it becomes like one of your main games?
Yeah, I'm going to say yes. And Mike and Brian may not agree because of the...
I'd agree with it.
Okay,
yeah.
Well,
because the skill ceiling's so high. Yes.
Your definition of getting into a game involved a lot of hobby stuff.
Well, in this one, no. It's just pure from a pure gameplay stand. I could see someone going to conventions to play this game, going to events to play this game.
So yeah, Xtreme. I would say yes because not playing it for 3 years and checking out where things were, current status of the game. Apparently, there is a online version of it. People are playing like through tabletop simulator,
which is kind of crazy, right? That it's a board game version of a video game, and now it's being played online. It's like the whole cycle is complete.
Yeah, it's a weird kind of inception of or reverse kind of that is very strange.
This one would play well in a computer, I think. There's a computer version.
Oh, yeah.
If you're into that sort of thing, I saw a screenshot of it. It looked like the pixel blocks. The game seemed pretty easy to make. You're not trying to replicate miniatures. You're just putting blocks on the screen. There are Brent mentioned, I said about what's going on new. He said there are some free rules variants online. McFadden 20, McFadden 21 for a Madden simulation. I guess players have been updated, teams have been updated, that kind of thing. He also put together the Legacy League if you want to do long-term leagues and almost like in Blood Bowl, how you have the perpetual kind of leagues there, keep continuing.
So with player updates, how does that work? Because a lot of players are like all-time players.
Yeah, I don't know. I really don't know on that.
But I can see people making custom new rosters every year.
You can do that, but the majority of the star players in the game are not current players.
Yeah, but you could update it, make it like these are the best players for each team. How many star players per team typically in the game?
2 to 4 per team. Or, sorry, no. 3 to, I don't know. 3 to.
Some teams had more.
Some had more. So like the Chiefs or the Chefs had a completely different set. You had like this one with the Priest Holmes and a couple other guys. Then you had another set where you couldn't pick and choose. And O.J. Simpson is in the game, by the way. A lot of people.
Pills? Does he play for the Pills?
He's on the Pills as well. Yep. So I don't know about that, but I think the Legacy League lets you build up with skills and all that. I would prefer to play out of the box. I think the way, and maybe we're biased, I think the way we did our league is the best way to play because it's right out of the box. You don't have to be in the group already to get it, but it's still, because of the complexity level, there's still some growing pains of learning it. Brent mentioned, so besides the free rules variants, which I think are on Wargame Vault, go on there. There was another version that he was going to kind of put out there, but obviously with the pandemic, other things, some things are put on hold, but there might be some kind of new update. I bring this up because if you want to buy this game, it's currently out of print.
There is one way you could buy it.
There's one way you can buy it, and after the sales pitch occurs, I will tell you about the
Stay
hobo
tuned.
as Biran was. Xtreme. Want to wait till later? Or do you want to do it now?
I can do it now. No judgment on the game at all, but my copy is for sale if anyone wants to buy it. It's only been opened once. I think I have one team punched out, but it's never been played with.
Does it have all the cards?
Everything that came in the Kickstarter, so
You're
yes.
not going to keep this one?
I'm not, no.
You can have mine.
Brian
Thompson
is on the Pandas.
It was misspelled, but Brett, being a professional, compensated me with my Pandas mat for free.
Yeah.
Because he knows it's way cheaper to get that done than to do a new run of cards.
Yes, it is.
Exactly.
Considering he's probably got a garage full of that stuff.
Mike is in the game as Blonde Jeremy.
Blonde Jeremy, yeah.
And I made it on the monsters here. Normal name, boring. Xtreme, though, is the only one who picked a skilled player. Let's talk about this for a moment. The numbers of players, the first number, I should say, or if in a single-digit character, the one number, like in the case of Payday, he's a 7. That tells you their skill rating. The higher the number, the better they are at fast-moving, agility-type things. It's the number of squares they move. So I can only move 4, whereas Xtreme can move 6, and that's probably accurate. He's faster than us. He does various, obstacle courses. The three of us.
Homoerotic men's running events.
I'd like to think maybe at one point in my life I got into the 50s, but for now, the three of us at 4s are probably accurate. And no 3s. We're not that guy. You know what I mean? We're not 3s. We're 4s. It's all right. But it's the reverse for blocking someone. So when you look at the Fridge character, Perry Freezer, he is I think 33 is his number. So he's a 3. So a 3 hitting a 6 is already at a +3 advantage, which is the max bonus you're going to get. And when I say max bonus, when you roll your 2d6 to decide if that block is a success, and you roll a 7, which as gamers know, it's a very common roll, the most common roll, you now turn that 7 into a 10, and 10 or more is a full success. You get to do the thing you want to do and a free action afterwards. So when you play this game, you want to do whatever you can to get a +3 bonus or as close to it as possible. It is the equivalent of doing other stuff before a straight-up block and Blood Bowl or other stuff before a dumb 2-die uphill block. You have to do the risk management stuff. Would you say that this game has a similar style of risk management? There's still a reward for going nuts and trying cool shit, but would you say it still has a risk management aspect to it?
Oh, for sure. And one of the hardest lessons to learn in this game is frequently the best move is to do nothing.
Yep.
Good point. How many times do we feel like you got to do something?
Yeah, I know.
It goes against every instinct we have.
Yeah.
The turn starts, you're like flipping cards over at the same time. Death Path, anyone? He did it first. And then you compare the numbers, and that will tell you who gets the initiative that turn based on who wins this flip-off. Whatever, I guess flip-off. Is that what it is, a flip-off?
Sure.
Not a flip-off. And I love that thing. You'll see Brent do it if you look up his videos. He does that. He wants you to flip your defensive card first, the defensive player, because if you do it first, it's a false start. And so it's kind of a fun little meta game in there, much like the, would you say? Are you declaring a dodge? All right. I'll sit down. I'll just relax. Meanwhile, it was nothing. So some fun kind of real-world bluffing going on with the cards there. But that is the basics of the game. Is there's a list of actions to do, as you'd expect. Blocking and running and passing and handoff and all those kind of things are in the game. Where you position guys, it's a lot of pushing around. Assists make a difference. Ganging up on people, that kind of thing. All that makes a difference. Where the next level stuff comes into play is the how do I get my passer to get +3 dice on a throw? Because when you have his card, you're going to activate your passer. So for some reason, Blonde Jeremy's going to throw a pass. Never do that. Never have him throw a pass. He does that. You want him to get that full success. How do you do that? Well, the way to do that is probably don't put the Blonde Jeremy card in your play list, which is like 5 cards as a play view constructed. Keep him on the bench, because then instead do something else that's going to get you a free action. Move your Blonde Jeremy to throw it without a card, just as the freebie, then pull his 2 cards off the bench for the +2, and then make your throw like half range or full range, but not double, whatever the one is for the +1, and then there you've got the +3. That was something that I would have never thought of reading this rule book out of the box on my own. There's no way I would have ever put together that. I mean, someone that's watched this play this game probably thinks, yeah, it's a no-brainer. But what I mean is when you read through the rule book, and again, it's not a thick rule book. It doesn't seem complicated. But at no point in here does it feel like, yeah, I'm going to do a pass with somebody that I'm not going to actually activate with the card. To do it as the freebie takes an extra level of, wait a minute, can't you do this? So that's what this game has that other games don't have. That's why I wanted to bring up the complexity versus complicated concept. That's something that you guys encountered in your games where it took either somebody else or your own revelation to go, oh, why can't I do that?
It took someone else. I would never figure it out on my own because I'm too dumb.
But it sounds like one of those skill level learning in the game, but it's rewarding at the same time. Like once you figure it out, like, oh, that's really cool.
It totally is.
But never discount. I'll get that +3, but still roll a 2.
Well, sure. If you roll bad, you roll bad. But I mean.
Oh, and another pro: take the dice that come in the box and throw them in the trash.
Yes, for sure.
They're not good. One of them, the colored one, is a little off, and then the other one is just kind of basic, and you can add your own dice in there.
It rolled so poorly, uniformly bad.
So let's talk about the box. And
it's a good box.
It's a good box. Cool graphic on there. And the box is out of print. You can buy Xtreme's copy there. Stay till the end for the price. And you might find one on eBay. You might find one at a game store. You might, but the distribution level wasn't super great with this one. I do know he used, I think it's called Fun Again, was his distributor that would fulfill the Kickstarter orders 3 years ago, and then you can buy copies there. So that might be an option. Inside that box, you had the pixel cutout players, like punch-outs, like this. And I played this one time, this style. And because I was trained, I learned how to play with the pixel blocks, I had a real hard time adjusting.
From a gameplay perspective, pixel blocks are far better because of the numbers on the top.
Yeah.
Because the numbers of the players is so pivotal.
It's small.
Yep. And
how far away are we play? It's kind of small. I don't want to put
old and don't see so good.
I vaguely remember, and since you guys all backed it too, we're in the game. Never forget that no matter what happens, we're in the game. do you guys remember, it was one of the Kickstarter updates that there was, this happens all the time in Kickstarters. In our Designing a Game episode, ciao, just kidding.
Ciao.
We talked about the entitlements, that level of, I'm part of it now, right? Like I'm part of how the future of this game. Like
I'm an investor.
Yeah, sort of. I mean,
You pre-ordered something. Shut up.
Sort of. Well, I don't know if Brent posed this question or if his hand was forced into posing this question, but I vaguely remember this, and see if you guys remember. All right, poll time. Here's what we're going to get in the box. Either all 32, right? All 32 teams in the game, standees with the little plastic things. That's option one. Or the pixel blocks, but I can only do 8 teams for budget reasons. To have them created like resin, plastic, wood, whatever. Pixel blocks done, can only do 8. And I was like, give me the 8.
Yep.
I'm like, yes, at 8, I want the pixel blocks. I'll figure out a way to buy the rest, and I'll buy them. I'll fucking put in another $100 and get the rest. I don't care. The board game people won. No, I want all the teams standees. Like, oh no, you're ruining it. You don't know any better. And they won. You guys remember that?
Yes.
Yeah.
What were your thoughts on that?
Meanwhile, how many of those people that insisted on every team only have a couple teams punched out?
No question.
Now, the flip side of that, though, is that they only did 8 blocks. Those are the only 8 teams that are really going to get played by the majority of the people.
Maybe. I mean,
fine. It doesn't have to be the NFL.
He was going to do, I think, the first 8 to fill up, as far as created character slots, if I remember correctly, would be the 8 chosen. And so, when I tell my friends, and we're in the Chicago area, to get in, and me, Spencer, and Josh Aldis all joined the Bears team, that's 3 of the 5 or 4 slots. It's either 4 or 5, I don't remember, fill up. We knew I had both the I want people in the game because I think that's fun, but I also had the ulterior motive to I want the Bears pixel blocks, so let's hurry up and fill this one up, guys. And it was one of the first few filled up all the way.
Oh, yeah.
As Biran said, I've got 3 of these cases. You can see the different teams separated there by the colors. The only ones that saw play were the 4 teams I played in our league, and maybe 2 others that I played just as like one-offs to show people. I never played the other teams. Not a problem. I mean, it's nice to have them, but I would have much rather had like some kind of like plastic or resin pixel blocks, because these don't look that good. See how afraid they are there. This was the first group I made as well. It got better later on. Still not perfect. This would be if you were a sports card collector, off center, automatically very good condition out of the pack, not mint. I don't really want to make crafts. I got these at Hobby Lobby. There's like 24 for like $5, and then I printed them out and made them. It's okay. I'm glad we got to do it, but man, I really wish it would have been blocks in the box.
But something else that would give you the option for is to have the continuous releases.
Yeah.
So that way you could release another division of blocks and keep that life of the game going.
I know. I really, and I won't claim to know what the decisions Brent, the creator, was going through at the time, but man, I would have loved to just like veto this shit and never the pixel blocks are awesome. It makes for a better experience. I guarantee it makes for a better gaming experience. We're going to do pixel blocks. And then you shut the hobos up that say, I want to spend this amount and never any money again. Like, no, it's way better this way. Just go with it. I would have preferred the heavy hand, but I don't know. I don't know what the ratio to those people were to the other people. I don't know the poll, the results. I don't know. So the box came with all the teams and their punch outs. Have you guys ever played with the punch outs?
Yes.
Yeah.
One. And that's why I went to the blocks. Yeah.
I only had the punch out, so.
You didn't make blocks?
I bought blocks, but I never did the craft.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, I don't remember that at all. Is that
I don't
why
remember that either, I'll be honest with you.
Is that why you didn't play the full season? Because you were like, it's better on the blocks, but you didn't feel like being a craftsman for the day?
No, the game just didn't click with me.
Okay.
For me to put the effort in.
You're not a sports game guy, so yeah.
Yeah.
Would you have done it if it did?
Yeah.
Okay. To me, it's like, and again, I don't know, maybe because we learned on it. I have no idea, but I mean, when this is, you're both standing over. Yes, the pixel guy, the character is on the side. You are. It's a very small field. It's not like a 6x4 gaming table. It's a very small field, and both players are looking over the top of it. So when you see this number, even reversed, it's still very easy to read. The colors are very easy to tell. I think
we should ask Brian that. Are the colors easy to tell?
Oh,
burn.
No, I'm asking it as a person who lacks the ability to distinguish color at the same
You're going to call a person
as a normal person
who lacks color?
I don't see colors.
I believe Bill Murray in Space Jam said Larry's not white, he's clear. He lacked color. Xtreme, Pixel Block, how were they for you?
I don't know. I would have to look at them all again. That one's very clear. But I think it's kind of both those are fine. I think it's
red
kind
green.
I don't think there's any NFL team that's red and green. That would be crazy.
Christmas All-Stars?
Yeah. But I think it's kind of best of both worlds because, like, for play purposes, you have the number easily pointing up so you can see what it is, but then on the sides you still have the players, so you can still kind of envision the players playing against each other.
With the standees, I had to constantly lift my piece.
The standees?
Yeah, I vaguely remember that now. I played against somebody, must have been you, and I couldn't tell what the players were. You couldn't. It'd be almost better if it instead of standees, it was
just a square with a number on it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, well, good point. I saw someone play that way. I saw a picture when it was, when the initial hype after the Kickstarter.
Yeah, without the standees, it would be better.
People were playing, looking down on this.
That would be better than using the standees. I'd agree. I don't know why we didn't think of that.
Yeah. I just, it would have been cool to go that route. But let's talk about, so we mentioned about the game now being out of print. You get Xtreme's copy. But according to Brent, 'cause I asked him earlier, I'm like, what is the current status of it right now? He said it's completely sold out at retail. People can get the cards at Drive-Thru Card website.
It's like a print-on-demand type thing.
Print-on-demand,
yeah.
Get the playmat from Inked Gaming. So Inked Gaming has the playmats in stock.
Yeah.
And then the pixel blocks and rules of the game at Wargame Vault. There's a small fee, I believe, for that. There's a couple that are like free, and there's some pay what you want on Wargame Vault. And so it is really a print and play game at this point. And so that's kind of good news because when a game goes out of print, it's hard to – I would feel bad about doing this episode. We're doing this episode 3 years too late, but you still can get this game. And Brent's got a couple other projects in the works, maybe sports related, maybe not. So maybe there will be another printing of this one. But you can print on demand this game and do that as well. You're going to miss out on some things. You may not have the scoreboard or the
show the stands or the bench.
Yeah. Thank you. I just thought about that. Yeah. So NES controller. Do. So remember, this is jump. That is run faster. You stand up the cards in here, and so it's almost a Scrabble-esque kind of thing.
That's your bench. Yeah.
Yeah, your bench that you can pull from either players.
Don't put them in numerical order because sometimes they will take things off of your bench for your opponent.
Yeah.
You got to mix them up.
I would say in general, any games where people are randomizing, this is a Super Show thing too, and many other games. Once I figure out, okay, this person always puts their good cards on the right corner, and I'm not going to tell them. I'm just going to keep grabbing the right corner. Like, I don't know. It's the right corner. Mix them up. So it's your bench in the game where I mentioned earlier, you can pull from for a boost to give modifiers to the guy you're activating, but also usable at the end of a play, or not the end of a play, but as a play goes on a long time, you are pulling players off your bench to do extra things and fill in. So you'll miss out on that, but otherwise it is a print-on-demand game at this point using the resource I mentioned. So that's definitely good news if this game has piqued your interest, you want to check it out, you saw the videos and all that, or, again, if you want the full-blown copy, Xtreme has one. I'm not selling mine. Biran, selling yours?
Nope.
Mike? No.
No.
Okay. Maybe that will be reflected in the ratings at the end. We'll find out.
The box is just so cool. I can't give up a box that cool.
Yeah, it's a great box. Really good quick reference sheets as well. There are different modes to play as well. I didn't mention that. So there's 7-on-7 is the basic mode. You can also play 8-on-8, and you think one player, big deal. It actually changes the game completely.
Oh my God, yes.
Mike, 8-on-8. Now this game is going to end 7-3, not 46-30. You know, I mean that's 7-on-7. It felt like, I don't know, there was always the lane to go through. And when you play 8-on-8, every lane's clogged.
Yeah, everyone blocked, yeah.
It's a narrow field, so it doesn't take much to block it.
Yeah, so that was a big one. I think our league was 8-8, and then we did the fire tokens as well.
Yeah.
That really adds to the video game aspect to it. He's on fire! Extra squares to move, extra things you can do. We also added house rules of spending those to do other things as well. If anyone wants our house rules, send us a message, Zlurpcast, or actually, better comments below. And then I'll try to find it. And I can't guarantee I'll find it, but I think I have them somewhere. And I'll send those to you. Feel free to use them. But this quick reference sheet was perfect because offensive formation, there are very specific rules to setting up on offense. Defense is a little open, but offense was like, you got to adhere to these rules.
It's like real football. You have to have a certain percent on the line.
Yep. Certain on the line, certain you can't go here, but you can go here and go by the quarterback, but not just randomly in the backfield. But there are, calling a play, different things you can do, all your actions, loose ball, what happens? We all know you call Mike over to figure out loose ball. We know that.
Every store needs a mic.
Yeah, skill checks. I think there's two quick reference sheets. Skill checks, bench boost, goes through all that kind of stuff, handoffs, passing, everything. This was like, we didn't have to crack the rule book open that much, just for some skills here and there, but these we used every game up until the end. Would you guys agree?
Mm-hmm.
Like we still, like Blood Bowl, at a certain point, you don't need anything anymore. You memorize the weather chart, good for you. But this game still needed stuff after a while. The other thing you'd miss out on, as far as tokens go, you got the little blocks that came in the game, but that's literally those are standard issue board game blocks.
Just empty out your pandemic box and you'll have plenty.
Sure. Yeah, whatever you want to use for that. You could use, can I throw this one out there? What do you guys think about someone actually using miniatures to play this game?
Sure. If you have miniatures, like some of the, going back to Dreadball, where they have a good spot on their back where you can put the number, yes.
Now,
that'd be the one issue is the number, but
the spot on the back is still going to be like a standee, though. It's going to be kind of small.
But not as small. Maybe on the base, have enough room on the base of your model to have a good sized number on there.
Maybe on the base. I want to see if I can find this.
Wasn't there actual NFL team miniatures that?
Someone did. Let me see. I'm on this 3D printing site and Techno. By the way, when you search Techno Bowl, every single time, did you mean Tecmo Bowl? I think you.
No, Google.
Yeah, no. I think you mean Tecmo Bowl. But someone made, I'll try to pull it up, really cool looking standees. And here we go. Got them. See if it shows up.
Oh yeah, I remember those. Yeah.
Yeah.
What the? By a dog?
And there's a dog.
Yeah.
Pro painted, obviously, on this one.
Yeah.
But that would have been pretty cool because it's a block. You're literally looking at a block that's got the number, but they made it into a little guy.
Yeah, it's the problem though is like the number would be better on the helmet than on the back.
Yeah, someone then made these generic ones. It's okay. You can use it for anything you want. I think the guy that made these will, like, if you buy them, we'll make the numbers. We'll carve them in. But I really like that the block ones. Look really. Oh, here we go. He did do them. Yeah. Clickbait. Yep. No, I don't want to know what that is. I think he did the ball. Wait, where is it? No. He made one where. Oh yeah. I guess you're supposed to put him in between the ball. Probably would have been better than two.
Mm-hmm.
We got to play this with Blood Bowl models. Would you guys do that or no?
You could, but numbers are so important.
I like the aesthetic of just the cubes. I'll be honest with you. It was part of its charm was everything was just those little cubes. So
Yeah. At one time, I looked into having Chessex do dice to act as cubes. You're only putting an image on one side. And then, get the dice in the color of the team, the dice in the inlay. You don't have to worry about the pixel. You do lose that aesthetic, like Xtreme mentioned, which is the whole idea is video game. But if you take that out of the mix and just say, I want a dice, and on the top of that dice will be the number, it's still going to be one of those where you got to pay for a certain amount, and it's not cost effective at all.
Mhm.
Well, at that point, you may as well just play with the flat shit on the board with the number on it. You don't really need a 3D die if you're not going to put anything on sides.
No, I like the die. I like the 3D cube. I don't. Mike's right, and Mike, we agree on every rating, so obviously we're both right. There's something about the cube moving guys around like your play. It felt right. Now, it's not because of the pixel guy. That was cool. The pixel guy on the side, of course, is cool. But there's something about, like, when you watch Brent play in these videos on YouTube, and he does that thing which always cracks me up when they huddle up after a touchdown. He takes all the cubes and puts them together. I don't know. It's just a dumb thing that I always laugh every time. But we started doing that too, like huddle up. There's something about the 3D cube that made this game for me.
And the cube for me is easier to pick up and move to than a flat shit. So, because I don't know, I just don't have long fingernails, but it'd be hard for me to. With the cube was easier.
Well, and the flat ones also still had the number problem. It's still tiny. I mean, let's look at the difference on size of number here.
Yeah.
One is the entire block, and one is a small portion of that on there. So I just don't. I never played it this way. I don't want to play this way, and that's what you get there. But if you do the print on demand, you get the cubes. You can make the cubes easy enough. Xtreme, are you also trying to pitch your game too? Is that why you're trying to push for the standees? Because you want to sell your game?
I'm not pushing for the standees. I think the cubes are the best way. But you said you're looking at Chessex dice with just a number on them, and then all the other sides would be blank. Well, that's kind of lame. You might as well just have the chit. That's all I was saying. If you're going to do the wood cube with the pixel guy on the side, then I think that's the preferred way to go.
What if I did a Chessex dice with pixel guy on all the sides?
That would be awesome and very expensive.
Yes.
Well, if you buy stuff from Zlurpcast.net,
A lot of stuff.
such as
A lot of
coasters,
stuff.
look at that. Look how shiny Mike's pustules are.
Yeah, exactly.
Gloss coating there. And maybe we could afford one player. So make it count. We're going to buy our own, obviously. Extreme fair point. I'm not trying to take away the pixel aspect. Do you remember when we all got in this game? We had our icons on social media, these guys.
Oh, yeah.
I'm not trying to take away from that at all. But
I think it's still my Kickstarter icon.
Yeah?
I think so.
Side note on Kickstarter, they won't let me change from Death Path. Our name was Zlurpcast Studios. I can't change to my name because we launched one. If you launch a Kickstarter, you can never change your name. It's insane. So, fun fact, everything I back, even if it's weird, like fucking hentai shit, is going to be Zlurpcast.
Well, that's on brand, so that's okay.
Yeah.
Extreme. Well, you're all part of that brand now, so enjoy. So if the choice is Chessex style, dice on top, in the color of your team, or this, are you still picking this?
I think so. I just don't like the idea of the blank sides on the die.
Okay, fair.
And if those were my only two choices, you took away the choice that I really want. So
That's how it goes. Do you save one person you know, or to kill 10,000 people? These are the Sophie's choices of this episode.
all right.
Split the baby.
Yeah.
One of those things, too, though, that it's I used to get this a lot when I would be playing some miniature games where you think something is significant when you're sitting at home, but when you're actually playing the game, and all you see is the numbers on the top. The pixel guys on the side, while I'm playing it, I don't see that at all. But just looking at a cube with the number on top and nothing on the sides, that would bother me.
So you get like Neo, where you just see the Matrix. You see the numbers.
I realize that when I'm playing the game, it doesn't matter. Some of these details don't matter. So
the pixel guy won't matter in the game because
No.
this game is so complex that you're so focused. The number is everything. The then like I can't stress how important the player's number is, because that tells you everything about that player. And that's actually a very simple concept.
Yeah.
But think about this. When you see people make their little travel versions of Blood Bowl with just little checkers, don't you die a little bit inside? Don't you need the aesthetic to keep you going?
It's a slippery slope. Like, you start taking the aesthetic away from that, the next, well, why do we have this pitch? Why don't we just play on a chessboard?
Why do we have models at all? Why don't we just play with
Why don't we just get together, each bring 1d6, and whoever rolls the most ones loses. We'll do
That's
10
called
rolls.
Super Show.
We'll do 10 rolls each. 10 rolls each. Most ones lose. That's Blood Bowl. I mean, if you want to actually do that. Fair point. I'm glad you, Biran, bullied Xtreme a bit by also tearing down the heartstrings of the Othello version of Blood Bowl. No one wants to do that. That is, to me, it's like, I made a travel. It all fits in my wallet. Like, I open my wallet and we play.
And then I throw it in the trash where it belongs.
I'm not playing a fucking game that's this big in your fucking wallet, but it's great for a train. Like, I don't give a fuck.
Well, you could fit a game of Epic 40K in your wallet.
Mike's wallet is Apocalypse, where
It's got Titans in it.
Epic in our wallets. Like, here's what you do if you want to play Blood Bowl on a train. Wait till you get to your destination.
Then don't play anyway. It's terrible.
Yeah.
Xtreme. I don't mean to pounce on you on this one, but that's where that comes from. The aesthetic of what's important to you about this game. You backed this game because you thought it looked cool, and the gameplay. Did you play a practice game at Gen Con or part of a game?
I played the demo with you.
Yep.
And that's the only play experience I have with the game.
I would say then you are on brand for you to say, I need those.
It's going to be a high rating then, because the highest rating was games he didn't play at all.
Well, Xtremes, we all go from 1 to 5. He goes from 1 to 4, though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He'll never put a 5.
Wait, does it go higher than 4?
$4 for you. That is your ceiling. So I think Mike's correct on this one. I agree with that of what's important to you in this game. When you're playing a game of Techno Bowl, remember, we played, I think they were 8-game. We did a back-to-back, right? We did a home and away.
Home and away.
Home and away, 4 weeks, 8 games. So 8 games 4 times.
7 games total.
Oh. What? I don't know. Well,
Because you don't play yourself.
Oh, that's true. My point is we played a lot of games, and we started to get better and better and better. And this is not an ego thing. This is more of just this is a game where there's a lot of fucking moments. I don't know a lot of other games that happens to me. Like, you're new, you know how to play, and you may one day get to this level, but you may not. You may stay at intermediate level forever, and that's okay. This game never had that. It was like boom, boom, boom. Every game I played, I learned something new, and it sounds like I'm exaggerating, but I'm not. There was one game I played, I think it was against Anna, Spencer's girlfriend there.
Bad Spencer's girlfriend.
Bad Spencer, but good Anna.
Yeah.
Right. She was a little frustrated in the game. I had the Trucks, which were the Bucks, and I had the Mike Allstott, what parody name, and I was like truck a guy. I give him the ball, hit someone, shove. Then another guy shove, and I was getting 10s every time. And when you get a 10, you get to do another free action. Boom, 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 boom. Down the field. It was the most I was laughing the whole time maniacally as she was getting pissed off because I scored a touchdown 3 squares at a time. Boom, boom. Because someone else had to activate him. So he did his thing, activated someone else. They did their thing, gave him a freebie, and it was like down the field. And it was, I think she yelled, "What the fuck?" And Todd had to say it's a family store. That was something that would have never happened. And like that I don't know, that team had that ability. 2 guys would shove, I believe. And shoves like a double push, sort of. And so it allowed you to push somebody and then not next to you anymore and clear a path. It took me a long time to get to that point. I would have never done that in our first few games we played. I just wouldn't have gotten that aspect of strategy to it.
You still had to roll really well consistently to get that to happen.
Yeah, so when that happened, I did have to roll 7s because it was a 10 with the modifiers. Mm-hmm. So I rolled a fuck ton of 7 pluses. You're right, Biran. things still had to happen. I believe you said a prayer to, was it Nuffle? Was it Nuffle you prayed to?
No. Doesn't ring a bell.
I thought you were a Nuffle guy.
Hmm.
Maybe I had the wrong Biran. And but I had to roll good still. But it was just one of those things. And so it kept that game. It's one of my favorite board games ever because I learn something new every time. And it's football, which I love football, and it's one-on-one, which I enjoy. Two-player games more than I do multiplayer games. So it checked a lot of boxes for me, and I just thought that I don't know. I'm surprised I didn't stick, but I think that once you go all out in a league, you kind of have to do leagues again, right? I mean, we would probably not go back to a one-off at that point, right?
Probably not, no.
Except to prepare for another league.
Oh, yeah. You want to play a game or two just to get back in the swing of things, and then
Are there other games?
have a preseason at least.
Yeah. Are there other games you guys can think of that you got into, game you get into, and you go over the top? I'm talking about leagues, campaigns, tournaments, all that. And then you go backwards. Do you ever play a one-off for funsies?
No.
You think of one like that?
Dreadball, I guess.
I was going to say, Dreadball's the only one I've done that with, but
And
yeah.
what was yours?
Blood Bowl.
Blood Bowl. Was it funsies?
Yeah.
You gave Blood Bowl a 4?
Mm-hmm.
Highest rated game you've given?
Nice rank.
I've given out like 4 4s, I think.
Yeah, no 4 5s though. Okay. Listen, you've got Blood Bowl tattoos. I get it. You can't let this one go away. Here's the thing: when new Blood Bowl comes out, I'm going to give it a try. It's still Blood Bowl, but it's got some new aspects to it. This game is one when I think I would play for fun now because I haven't played in 3 years. But if I were to assemble a gaming group and everybody wanted to play this game in a league, ain't going back. In fact, might be a yearly thing. Like how people do fantasy football every year. This might be, we got our thing. I mean, Blood Bowl, people do that with Blood Bowl, right? Isn't that a thing? We never really did that, but don't people do like when NFL starts up again, our Blood Bowl league starts up again. You see people do that, right?
Yeah.
Weirdos.
That is
I
weird.
did. Do they play tournaments at conventions and stuff? And how is that formatted? If you know, or can you imagine how you would format a tournament for this game?
Well, beyond wins and losses, you mean, with other points and whatnot?
I mean, would it just be like Swiss pairing and you find somebody, or I have trouble imagining. I think it's definitely a convention game because you have small groups of people that need to come together to play this game. But I have trouble imagining how the format would go.
And I don't know how balanced if there's a big Techno Bowl group, is there like, these are the 3 best teams, period?
Yeah, I don't know if that probably has occurred. And there's a guy doing Tabletop Simulator. There's the fan. I mean, so they probably played enough to know there's tiers. But if you have we're going to draft teams, you get who you get kind of thing, and then you do round robin or Swiss stuff, whatever you want. That's all you can do. In our league, I knew there was going to be tiebreakers. So I think, can you guys refresh my memory? Did I use fire tokens? Come on.
I would have to have won enough games for a tiebreaker to matter to remember.
On our rankings, I'll just tell you. So in the NFC North, the Kittens, Sarlo was playing them. They won. They were 6-2. Fire token 0. Mike was 5-3. I had 1 fire token, 4-4. I think we used that as a tiebreaker because you spend fire tokens in the game, but then we adopted a house rule, I believe, of a tiebreaker if you had the same record. That sound familiar?
Yeah, if you use less fire tokens, you got the tiebreaker. Yeah.
To answer my own question, I just thought of this. Tecmo Bowl, the video game, has tournaments, and the way they do a lot of their pairings, like one coach, I think the player that is lower ranked will pick 2 teams, and then the other person gets to pick one of those 2 teams. So you can kind of control the matchup in a little bit. So you don't want to give.
So you're just talking about teams being better, yeah?
No, just like I'm trying to imagine how a tournament would work, and I know in Tecmo Bowl, like you don't want to play against the Raiders because you don't want to deal with Bo Jackson. So you don't pick the Raiders. You'll pick like the Bucks and the Redskins, but then the other person gets to pick one of those 2 teams first. So they may pick the Redskins, and then you're stuck with the Bucks.
The way I would run a tournament would be a draft, and we draw random names and you pick teams. I mean, I would do a tournament. We have 12 people signed up. All right, draw names. Mike, you get first pick. Who do you want? I mean, we sort of did that for our league. We didn't. I think we we had another house.
You were on the team. You got.
Right, you were on the team because I was thinking, how the fuck did I get the monsters? If you were on the team, you got them. Otherwise, we just did a pick. I mean, am I missing?
We also didn't know which teams were better than each other, so we just picked. I like the look of these guys' helmets. I'm picking them.
Are you trying to? Is anyone trying to insinuate that the teams aren't balanced?
They're not.
No.
They're not?
No.
I mean, I'm not trying to say that. I'm just trying to picture a tournament and think of different formats and how you could do a tournament.
Why would you say the teams aren't balanced?
Because some teams have more star players. By default, they're going to be better.
Don't you think someone like Brett would have taken that into account? He ain't making Blood Bowl where there's intentional bad teams. Don't you think?
No, I'm not saying teams are bad, but I'm saying a team that has – there are teams that are better. I'm sure of it.
Yeah.
Better for your play style, maybe?
Better to score touchdowns with, which is all that really matters.
Does it? What if I win 3-0 with a field goal, which you give me shit about because you told me field goals should be illegal?
I agree. They should be illegal in the NFL, too. They're stupid.
I believe you called me the P word for kicking a field goal at one time.
Yeah.
What's the P word? Peyronie's?
Yep.
You said don't do field goals. That was play pure. I'm like, fuck you. Field goals? This is football. Like, if I win 6-3, it's a –
Well, I believe I did change that because I didn't want to play overtime. I say you can kick a field goal if it breaks a tie.
But not to create
Kick a field goal to tie, then you're a pussy.
To create. I know why you only lasted one division.
Two. Second one was a favor, and you never thanked me.
And I'm not going to. And the fact that you used stand easy and we didn't remember is how unremarkable you were in this game. So
I scored a touchdown on Tony. It was the highlight of my gaming career.
Yeah, Tony got the trophy. I built I took the cartridge that was part of the Kickstarter. It was a throwback cartridge with hands. Put it on top of one of my soccer trophies. We were the goal busters, lost every game that year. Clearly got a trophy. By the way, people nowadays go, oh, you expect everyone to get a trophy? I got a trophy, and we lost every game, and that was 1985. So
I didn't.
I know, but people nowadays say, you expect everyone to get a trophy? Yeah, we did. We paid. You get a uniform, you get the trophy.
Did you want the trophy, though?
Fuck yeah, I did.
You still got it.
Mm.
To use the P word, you know how much pussy I got with that trophy?
Less than zero?
Yeah. You get that.
I mean, what happens outside of Jake's Pizza happens outside. That's where we went after every soccer game. Fucking Jake's Pizza.
Chicago, I like to kiss you because you taste like orange slices.
So it is a game that I think a tournament would be great for this game. Much like Dreadball, because you play out of the box and there's no customization. I don't know the legacy rules. If anyone has played or checked out the legacy rules that are on War Game Vault and want to comment, that's fine. I don't know what that's about. I'm not averse to ever trying that. I just think that we played at a way that we thought would be fun. If you're sucking, well, then wait till the next division. You'll get a fresh team, and you get a new chance with them. The teams that you went 2-7 with, well, you'll get a fresh start later on, and that happened. There were teams where people did bad with one team and then made the playoffs with the other team. And so it all kind of worked out in the end, I think.
So I have a couple. First, I want to comment that when we were talking to Brent, when we were doing the demo and stuff, he talked about how much playtesting went into the game, and I think it really shows, and how he was able to program like simulations in to see the result of those. And I thought
totally forgot about that.
It was fascinating. He created this program. He's like, well, there's 1,000 games played. Now I can see what happened in those 1,000 games. I was like, that's unbelievable.
I totally forgot. Thanks for bringing that up. You have a good memory. You have the best memory of the four of us. That's one thing you have. Lowest ratings, highest memory. Brent, I don't know if Brent did it or if like a computer guy he knows, but or a consortium, is that the right word, or consortium?
I think it's Asian.
Of computer nerds, possibly Asian, I don't know. Sushi player, maybe. Maybe you got a free guy in the game if he built a program. They ran everything. It's like if we were to play a baseball video game, and Xtreme's favorite format is not playing the game but being the manager. Like, just tell me what happens so I know if my draft picks did well. Whereas we would play the game. But they did that, where it was all the results. And that's how they tested it. That's insane. Like, didn't you say like thousands of games?
It was thousands. I forget how many, but like just describing it was amazing. And I think it shows in the game, like how solid this game is.
With that said, does that change your viewpoint about a fair tournament? Because you were questioning who plays what team.
I wasn't questioning a fair tournament. I was questioning like how the format of doing it. And I still think if you do a Tecmo style, I think that's an option. Like maybe I'm not describing it very well, but it's the player that matters in the tournament more than the team that they're given. So you could play a different team every round.
Okay, well, so in our league, when I played the Monsters, I had Payday as one of the best players in the game, and I was 4-4. I played with the Tridents, who were the Titans, who to me were somewhat unremarkable of a team, and I went to the finals with them. I think the Monsters are a better team, but maybe I'm missing something too. Or maybe I got better, or maybe I played shitty people, or maybe my dice rolls are better. I don't know. Biran, you seem to think that there are straight-up better teams.
Yes, just like the NFL. There are straight-up better teams.
I think there's teams that you can do better with. You said Tony.
Comment down below, you hardcore Techno Bowl guys, about what teams are OP and what are the tier lists. I bet there's got to be tier lists.
There's good engagement there. I like that. You said Tony taught you about some skills that may not be useful. What was one? Was there one we didn't think that was that good?
Pocket passer, yeah.
Pocket passer or the sideliner? Did we think that wasn't that good?
No, sideliner was good. It was the only skill I liked that I had.
But there was another one that was similar to, was with running, and I don't remember what it was, but
so I just think theirs might be a different learning curve. I thought playing the Monsters, like I thought they are a stacked team because you had the speed, you had the power, you had everything, and I just didn't do well with them. And I did better with other teams. I don't know what factored into that. Could have been a lot of things.
Yeah, because I had problems when I played the Bandits, and that was the third team I played, so I was presumably decent or knew some things, but I don't know. I couldn't make him work.
I don't know if we're going to have an answer, and maybe I hope people do comment on this one with that. But I'd like to think that Brent had a goal of some balance throughout.
Yeah, some
Who's the best team and why is it the Pandas?
Because there's a Thompson on it.
I never actually used in the game because he was 42.
He's your guy off the bench, like
that on the bench.
He's my +1 is what he was.
He's all I have left.
To pose another question to start a conversation, do you think one person can get this box and play a league out of the box with one other person, two other people?
Yes.
I mean, you have all the teams, but you only have one field, so you're still kind of limited to one game at a time.
Yeah.
There's no question you can do that. I mean, let's pull the neighbor scenario. Xtreme, if you and I saw each other every day, we could do a league. We would probably draft teams, or maybe each time pick one, whatever, or per division, whatever. But you could play an entire league. You just have to do the whole, when it comes to playoffs, don't play yourself. But otherwise, once you get rid of that factor of playing yourself in a playoff, of course you could play a whole, you were going to map out a Blitz Bowl league, right? With all the teams but small player count.
If you want the box, all you would need to have multiple of just two people playing is more fields, and you could buy those at Inked. So one box and a whole bunch of fields, and you got an entire campaign you can run.
Yeah, I have 2 fields. I bought one before the Kickstarter happened. I got the file, and I just got one-on-ones, and I think that was another one where you used Dead Zone cards.
Yep.
Big Magnum marker, 51 on the scumbag card of Steadfast. Yeah, you're totally right, Biran. If you got more mats, you're set. Or made your own.
You literally wouldn't have to buy anything else in the entire league except fields.
There's probably a hobo that could print out take a dot matrix printer and print out a field.
32 people could play out of that one box.
Yeah, you got all the cards. That's the most important thing.
Yep.
The cards, because the pixel blocks, if you want to make pixel blocks again, they're at War Game Vault.
Yeah, they're free. Yeah,
free or small fee. And I think they were free to us because we were backers, Mike. I don't think But it's very minimal cost. The rules are very minimal, and the cards are print on demand. If you're the type that prints out cards, like some people play games where the cards are paper, they print them out. You can do that and play an entire season with one set.
Or buy Dead Zone, take all the cards out, and use them with the print-on-play cards.
First edition Dead Zone, if you can find one of those.
Yep.
Just go to your local game store, go to their giant box of land, and just, you know.
Yep. I'll take 75 islands, please.
Yeah.
As far as play in depth, we're not going to go super in depth on the play because that's going to be in the rules and the videos as well. But we talked about our experiences with it. Overall, let's go through some pros and cons. Roundtable. Biran, want to go first?
Pros. Impeccably designed. I love the fact that by default in the box you get a neoprene mat. That's an automatic +1 Slurpee right there.
Automatically outstanding.
Yep. Yeah, I'd say rules, mat, overall component quality, and the graphics. Like they went all out on the art on like the cards for the teams. I think it looks great. The only downside is, like you, I think blocks would have been better, but I understand why they're not there.
Let's do pros for everybody. Valdric?
Again, I thought it was a very easy to learn game, but difficult to master game. I found it to be very, very fun. And again, I really liked that, just the block, the cube aesthetic of it. I thought that was really well done. I'm a sucker for neoprene. Anything with the neoprene mat, I will get. So, yeah, I definitely mirror that comment. So,
as the guy who sees the Matrix, you are neoprene. Xtreme, would you like to go next for a pro?
Sure.
Or several pros if you have them.
Sure. The theme of the game, the pixel design, like being very influenced by video games, I thought was really cool. Just talking to Brent and hearing about the design and how rock solid the rules and everything were, I was very impressed with. I never got to experience the rewards of skilling up in the game because I haven't played it enough. But that seems very appealing to me. And the neoprene mat that everybody loves, of course.
For me, obviously echo the crew here, but this is a game that non-gamers will play. Your coworkers at work that you talk about football with or play fantasy football with, or your non-gaming friends, those people, they would play this game. And that's a big one for me because much like Super Show, I mean, that had an ease of play factor in the wrestling tie-in, but this one, it is a straight-up football simulation. Like, you know how they say fantasy football is just like D&D for jocks or whatever? Like, to me, this is that crossover game that a gaming friend that doesn't like football and that tries to be funny and say sports ball, you know that guy I'm talking about, might not like this game. They actually might say, I don't want to play that. Cool though, like cool mechanics. You're better off saying maybe not for those people, maybe for these people. And like I'm talking about like the guys that you don't consider gaming nerds. They actually would play this game. It's as though this is for people who play Madden football and play in leagues and go and play that all night. This is for those people. And gamers who like football, but also those people. So I think that's just huge. And it's designed very well. It makes me feel like I'm playing football games. Whereas every other sports game, there is a varying degree of how much sport is really in it. The real sport is us playing it. As far as the activity of the fluff of sports, that's varying degrees how much it really happens. This game isn't like that. It is 100% football. If you like football, you like this game. Let's go through cons, same order. Biran?
I don't really have, aside from the fact that it's not a game for me, because I'm not a huge sports game guy anyway. And it does require that you think in advance a lot, which I'm usually not too keen on. I'm more of a reactive player when it comes to things. I'm better at reacting than planning ahead. So that's more of a unique to me con. So that's the only one I got.
They have a read and react in the game. You're reacting.
I was thinking of that, yeah.
Usually we forgot to do that. So.
Yeah. No, Tony showed me how to do it properly, so I actually use that every now and then.
There you go. Yeah, Tony was great at the game. Is
Oh,
Tony a football guy or no?
No, I don't think. Well, I don't think so. He doesn't eat meat, so I don't think so.
What does that mean?
He's half a man.
All right, Valdric.
The only con, and this wasn't a con for me, but that I could see people not liking, is if you want the cubes, you have to make it yourself. And that's an art project. It did teach, I discovered Mod Podge, and I've used that a lot.
Yeah. Thank you for bringing that up. So you go and get these cubes, right? And then you go and print them out on a decent color printer.
Yeah.
And biggest tip right now, so if you cut them out like the typical like build your own dice, the T, don't do that. Cut them out into squares and paste them on separately.
Yeah.
And then, because for some reason they get like this little like Gumby head thing going on where it's like bigger on one side, and you Mod Podge, you put it on first before you stick the things on, and then you put it on afterwards to coat it. And it's like, I did not think I was going to do crafts, but we did it.
And I've actually used my Mod Podge on bases for Kings of War. It's great stuff. I never would have learned of it other than that. So, yeah.
Yeah. And, I mean, you did get stuck on your penis once. That was a bit of a Mod Podge. I mean, it was
more than once, but yeah.
very stuck there.
The first time was an accident, but
Right.
If you use enough, it counts as a lubricant. It's when you only use enough and it starts to dry that it starts to hurt.
That's the Podge part of it.
yeah.
Is that everything, Mike?
Yeah.
As usual, I agree with Mike on things. It's a, obviously there's so many great pros with it, but there's a do-it-yourself aspect to the game that I don't mind doing. I don't prefer to do that by any means. I wanted the cubes in the game. And if one day this game becomes resurrected as a game I get into, I might do something about that. And maybe I do the, Xtreme may not agree with. Maybe I do the Chessex cube thing. Maybe I just write a fucking number on here and paint it the color and write a number on there. It's kind of ghetto and kind of hobo-ish. I would have rather had nice looking design cubes in the game. 3D printed ones are an option, or the players. I might experiment with miniatures at some point, maybe a human Blood Bowl team, but then again, you have the, how do I see the number? You still have that. Do I write it on the base? People do that in Blood Bowl. You ever play that guy in Blood Bowl where they go, what does he have? I gave you my roster. Look it up.
The number's on the back of the miniature. Yeah, you should see that.
Hey, you fuck. Tell me now what he has. Not looking at your roster. Well, I gave it to you. Yeah, that's just a fucking formality. I'm not going to look at it. I gave you my roster. Like, fuck you. I don't want your roster. In fact, I'm going to crumple it up so you can't give it to the next guy. Should have bought 8 copies. The do-it-yourself side, we did it, and it was fine. I just don't prefer that. So that is really, outside of not being able to get the game as part of normal distribution, those are my 2 cons of the game. And we do talk in the other games about how do I get into this game. From our first review episode, I think it was either Riot Quest or Relic Blade, we immediately talked about, can I go to my game store and buy it? For this one. Can you go to a game store and buy it? No. Can you go to Target, Barnes & Noble, buy it? No. It's a bit of a hunt, and it's a hard thing to find. You can make your own, but you can't buy the game. So that and the do-it-yourself are my only cons.
My turn?
Sure.
Yeah, sorry, I skipped you.
Same cons that you mentioned, Johnny, but I'm going to elevate them, and it's a bigger deal for me because of what you said earlier. You're trying to get non-gamers into this game, but then you're saying, all right, so you want to get into this game, now you have to go to this website, download this stuff, print this out, go to this website, get this stuff, and then you can come and play. They're never going to do that. It's too much effort. If it was just a box on the shelf they could buy, then
buying a game, you're giving them a quest.
So you have to do you remember when this happened? This is, again, when the game just came out and there was a lot of hype. Those guys that showed off their collection, they had all the teams made, all the cubes made. Everyone had like a little case, cards with it, the anal retentive board gamer that has all that. Not knocking it. I'm just jealous that I didn't, don't have the patience to do all that. But that's what you need to be. You need to be that guy and then invite your friends over.
And I think most of us coming from a miniature background don't mind that as much. But when we're this game, like you said, like it's so easy to bring people that aren't gamers into this game, but they're not going to go through that effort. Like as soon as you start talking about all that stuff and they see all those hurdles, they're just going to check out.
Yeah, I mean, I just
I don't think this is a game you get non-gamers into. I think if someone's board game knowledge starts and ends with Monopoly and Clue, this is going to be too complicated a game for them.
Maybe
if they are seasoned board gamers that play a lot of
yeah,
they have a shelfie, they have an NPR tote bag full of games. Yes, but
you're probably right. But so on the flip side, though, so if you take two friends, and it's hypothetically one is board gamer, like if you say the word Monopoly, they scoff immediately. They judge you based on your shelfie. That person, they don't watch football. Then you have guy at work, and when I say guy at work, he plays Madden, he plays fantasy football. He knows Monopoly and Scrabble and Clue, and that's it.
Not Scrabble.
No, sorry, whatever. His mom would ask for Parcheesi once in a while.
Right.
Who plays this game of those two?
I think in those cases both would, because the football fanatic would get into it enough to learn the game. I'm thinking of not like that. Take the theme out of it.
Why would you take the theme out of it? That's the game.
Well, take a passion for the theme, a passion for football. Just someone who you would just like. My wife would not play this game, but she'll play other board games. This is a little too complex.
Yeah, I mean, maybe. I think that. Let me just thought out. If you had those two people, if your board game friend who doesn't like football, say he would play this because of all the mechanics and this, like, no, they wouldn't, because they say, I don't fucking like football. I'm not playing this game. Whereas if you had a smart friend who is, you might be able to work him into this game. Now you're gonna have to start slow. You're gonna have to make it like, I'm not talking about fire tokens right off the bat. I'm talking about just right off the bat, just get it, and then every game introduce something new. I think you can get that person into it. That's an easier sell to me for the right person. I'm not saying anybody. I'm talking about that level of friend that you might have wanted to show Blood Bowl to at one time, but then was like, he said miniatures are dumb or whatever.
He said I was gay for playing.
I was gay. Right. I just don't think a board gamer that doesn't like football would want to play this game.
I don't know. I think they would. I can't believe I don't know if Tony likes football or not.
So, this is the case of guys and guy friends.
Yeah.
We don't really know anything about
because we don't share intimate details.
No, we don't know any of that. In our league, let's list those people we had. We had the three of the four of us. We had Pat, who likes football.
Right.
We had Anthony Sarlo, who likes football.
Yep. Who you wouldn't think likes football.
You wouldn't think, but he does. We had Spencer, Anna, and Marla all play in flag football leagues.
Yep. Ryan, who doesn't like football.
Ryan, who doesn't like football.
No.
But he also doesn't like this game.
He did not. Right. He did not like
it. He was being the good friend and playing in the league because it was a nice round number, but he was not liking the game.
He has what we don't have, and it's called empathy.
I think he played because this was the next game up in the league.
Right.
Yeah, and he didn't want to be the guy that stepped down, but I could tell he was heart in it.
Who?
Jameson? Did Jameson play?
I believe he did.
Yeah, you're right, he did.
And I don't think Jameson's super into football. But I don't think he's opposed to it like, say, a Ryan would be.
Jameson is a guy's guy. He works at an auto body shop. He knows guys he would try to show this game to. He knows the ones he would and the ones he wouldn't.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like I think he realizes it's we had Dragon played. Remember him?
Oh yeah, Dragon Grego played. Yeah.
I think he likes football, but I could be wrong.
I don't know. I wouldn't think Sarl liked football either.
So, maybe
or
I'm wrong.
for that matter.
Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe. Do you think there was just a lot of crossover because the people that played in our Techno Bowl league, they're all part of the XCW events we did too. All of them. So
But there are a lot of people that love Techno Bowl, the video game, that don't really follow football too.
Yeah, that's true. Some, and dare I say, it was also just, because the people that played know we have fun when we play games and along for the ride. Oh, cool. Jonny P is running this league. Of course I'm going to play. I'll do anything he says to do.
Well, for Spencer and Anna, they have to come from the city, so they.
And so did Dragon, yeah.
Yeah.
Didn't you have to pick them up from the train station, JP?
Yeah.
Did I do it once? I might have. I don't remember. Want to stop for some brunch on the way?
Yeah.
Well, I think you touched on it with bringing like football guy into this game. Like you have to bring them in slowly. You don't just like dump them in with like experienced players and kick their ass. They're never going to come back. But like if you bring them in with other people that are at the same level, or if you water things down at first and slowly introduce them, I think you get those guys hooked.
Yeah, I would agree. It is it's a complex game. It is the rule book's going to sound confusing for a while, and you're going to probably Google answers, find them on maybe a Facebook group. There's a Techno Bowl Fanatics, or on Board Game Geek. There's a shit ton of questions and topics and covering everything on there for the last 3 years because it can be a lot at times. But I think if you find the right person, the right football guy that's got an open mind, I think you can ease him into it, or her. So pros and cons are done. Anything else on the game we should discuss? Anything else on the rules, the players in the game? So all your favorite players have the parody names in there. The other book besides this is the team guide, which should have all those in there. There we go. So you have, you go through the list here, and you've got hardback would have been nice. This thing's been through some wars, you can see. You've got Larry Bonkers, Zonka, right? You've got a lot of Brent's families in this. You're going to see a lot of Spideys in here. He hooked up his family big time. They're like, listen, I've got nothing to leave for you in my will, but you're all in my game. Cool?
And I bet they spell their names right, too.
Oh, burn. Anthony Sarlo is on the Kittens, along with
He's a big cat lover, for those who don't know of the lore.
Yes. Along with Harry Danders, who is Barry Sanders. Larry Nice is Jerry Rice. Joe Dakota is
Joe Montana.
Joe California. Yeah. So they have all the logos are badass.
Yes.
I mean,
whoever his graphic designer is very good.
The logos are fantastic.
Yes.
Yeah.
The Omegas, the Pills, the Pit Bulls.
Well, the pills.
Oh, that's true. It looks like a Band-Aid. Yeah, the Monsters, the Kittens, they're all great. Jack-o'-lanterns.
I picked pandas just because of the panda.
Xtreme didn't want to go with the gorillas. He's got a gorilla fetish, though, but he doesn't want to go with the gorillas.
Pretty cool. I think that was my second choice.
I like these logos better than almost all the NFL logos. What's the Redskins?
I was just about to say that. I knew exactly where you're going. Is the engines. Get it?
Engines. It's not the Washington football team.
Is that because engines?
Yeah.
Is that? Oh. Dated. No, I don't know. It's fine. It doesn't matter. Nobody. Really
Boycott this game that's out of print.
It's always white people arguing about shit that doesn't pertain to white people. Anyway.
Stay in your lane.
I think that it's a fantastic game. We all like the mechanics of it. It's a great game. And if you like football, even more so. I think we are here for the ratings. Yes?
Yep.
Techno Bowl. Arcade football unplugged. Press start. Not a button, but I get it. We shall go with most experience to least. I will take the most on this one. I ran the leagues. Right? I ran the league, so why not? I'm going to go me, then Mike, then Valdric, then Biran, and Xtreme will be the booze. You guys cool with that?
Yep. That's how I wrote it down on my list.
Right now, so
I will give this game 4.5. Don't smile, Mike. Oh, you fuck.
I told you.
It is, I think that it can't be a 5 because of the cons we had. There's too many big ones. I got to drop it down half a point there, but it is a near perfect game in all ways. It is the complexity level that I like in games. Now, when I say that, I don't mean, having to refer back to the rulebook all the time. Like if you bust out a game for board game nights and it's on the high complexity level, that sucks because you're spending more time reading the rules than you are playing the game. That does suck. That's why people play dumb shit like Cards Against Humanity. But if you have a league and dedicated players and you play week in, week out, then the complexity level is just fine because you're gonna catch up to it. And that's why this game is just amazing to me. Perfect in every way outside of the couple cons. Valdric, spoiler alert.
Yeah, I had a 4.5 as well. I enjoyed every game I played. I actually enjoyed getting better with the game. Because I remember when we started off, we did some things and then we learned maybe it's better to not do that and do other things. And we all got better at the same time. And there were some close games. There were some blowouts, but I had fun with all of them.
You and I had a lot of really good games. I remember you saying do nothing is sometimes the best course of action.
Oh, yeah.
That revelation only happened like halfway through the season.
That was a hard lesson to learn because you're always like, I want to hit him. I should. And then you do it and you're like, damn it. I regret it.
I'll do a 2-die block anywhere.
Yeah.
Why? Like, why are you doing it? Well, it's a 2-die block. You're going to do a 2-die block. You have to do that in Blood Bowl. This game, I wish I would have saved the monsters for the end because I played them when I sucked. And the rate reflected that. On to the Panda's own Thompson. Get in there. Did you have any flashbacks, by the way, Biran, to your amazing high school career as a football player?
No.
Like, did they spell your name?
The other thing that bothered me, and this is dumb, was the numbers didn't coincide with my brain. Like, offensive linemen have to be number 50 through 79.
That's what
they have to be 80 to be eligible.
So when you're playing this game and a guy walks by your table, the same guy that goes, guard, nice. Or Blood Bowl. I used to play that when I was
that happened with this game, did it not?
People walk by and be like, that's not what a wide receiver has. Like, dude, it's not. Like, Walter Payton wasn't 7. Like,
how come I can't be 71? That was my number in high school.
Add the numbers up. He is 7. Biran, when you were, when they said, Thompson, get out there. Your coach at fucking Conant High School, the Lancers or whatever.
I was a Saxon.
The Schaumburg Saxons. And you were like the Rudy, like, let's give him his moment. This is when you got like 45, 42, get out there. You didn't have that feeling, but you did enjoy the game. And so your rating?
I don't really enjoy the game. I enjoy the idea of the game.
You enjoyed playing me and Mike. We had fun. No?
Yeah, but that's true. I mean, even games I don't like, I have fun playing with my friends.
Did I kick a field goal against you? Is that why you're upset?
You did. But I think it was early on when I didn't have the rule where you're allowed to kick a field goal if it gives you the lead, not if it ties it at the end of the game and you got to do overtime.
You have a lot of fucked up rules.
I do. It's very complicated.
Unwritten rules?
Yeah.
You know that?
Yes.
A lot of fucked up rules in the like you've seen Monty Python: The Life of Brian. If you watch The Life of Biran, completely different movie. Same amount of Jesus references though.
I'm unpredictable.
There's more fuck up rules.
Well, I think it's also is my tolerance for games overall. Like after like 2 hours, I'm like I'm done. But we had to play a home and an away game, so it was too much for me.
You probably tank the away game afterwards.
Yeah.
I got some pancakes next door waiting for me. Let's get this fucking game over with.
Get a steak sandwich, no onions. That's what I would get. I'm going to go with a 4.
Okay.
The highest score for a game I actually personally don't like that much, but I can't find fault with it otherwise.
So for you, based on my system of would we play, if I said let's play, this is a hard pass for you, right? Because you would say, there's 20 other games I'd rather play.
I'd rather play.
Right.
But if you said, hey, I'm running a league that you're not going to participate in, I'm trying to refresh my knowledge, will you come help me out and play a game? Yes.
Yeah, you would be my tackling dummy. You would be my player 2, if you will.
Right.
Okay.
You would set the game on easy and have me come over.
Right, come over. Help me grind up to the next level a little bit.
Yes. So, 4.
It's a good rating. And I appreciate that you appreciate the game for what it is, even though you would pick 20 other games, at least maybe 50 ahead of it to play on game night. Pentagon. Are we doing shirts? Are we doing show now? On to.
Oh no, I had to get my pen out.
Which one?
I'm predicting what Xtreme score is. So
were you sitting on one of your balls?
I got to write down. I got my prediction.
Were you sitting on one of your balls and you didn't want to cry?
Yeah.
It happened to me the other day. I had my real loose pajama pants on. I sat on the right one. So bad. Mr. Belvedere style,
Yeah.
Rock tune. Xtreme. We've all been waiting. Well, we're waiting.
So I could see a hypothetical world where I play this game more often, and I could see this being like a game that I get into with the right crowd. But finding that right crowd, I think what we talked about with my cons for the game is just so much work. Like, I don't see ever getting more games played in, and that makes me sad in a way because I don't feel like I'm getting the appreciation for how cool this game is. But because of those cons are such a big deal to me, I'm going to give it a 3.5.
Okay. I appreciate the over. Wow. What did you write, Biran? That looks like a.
3.5. Yeah.
It looks like a Threven.
I'm reversed for some. I think everything's backwards.
It looks like a Threven. I think that's a very good score for Xtreme because it's over 3, so it's over the halfway points.
That's a JP 4.5 right there.
It totally is. It completely is. I'm actually kind of surprised at that one. And here's the thing: the crowd is a big part of it. Who are you going to play this game with? Who can you find to play a league, a one-off, a tournament that thinks this game is cool, that wants to learn more, that wants to get better? That is a part of all of these ratings. Xtreme, let's say you put aside traditional gaming. You put aside Blood Bowl, miniatures, all these other games. You got a new job, because I'm not going to say that your current job would have these people at it. You got a new job. You got a few good buddies there. You're going out, having some beers. You're watching Thursday night football at this bar, watching Sunday night. They might be.
Got a couple DUIs under your belt.
Yeah, right. Got a couple DUIs. We don't talk about that. You know what I mean? There's a reason why it's like, hey, man, you rode a bicycle to work today. You just trying to get in shape? Yeah, I'm trying to get into shape. Okay, asshole? Those are the guys you might show this game to. It'll rekindle your love for tabletop gaming. Then you have football fanatics and football fans that want to play it. You might find the right crowd. But as it is right now, it's hard to find that. If we didn't play this league in the middle of all of these super show events, I don't know if it would have worked out as well. I don't know.
Well, as you guys were talking about the game, I was imagining this scenario where I stop playing other games and just focus on Techno Bowl and get people into it. I could see that as a real thing. It just would require a lot of work.
Yeah, it could happen. No, it's just a great fucking game and gets better the more you play. So who you play with is a big one. And it's a football simulation board game.
I think if I had the opportunity, if somehow people were playing this game locally, and I would jump in and I would give it a try, and I bet if we went back to this review, it would probably be higher because I can look at this game and respect it as a great game. I just haven't had the opportunity to.
If you ever do that and you sell your current game, I'll sell you this for $100. Techno Bowl right now. Who run Bartertown? Xtreme. Let's give the one final pitch and the price and how they can reach you to buy your game.
I don't know what the price is. Make me an offer.
All proceeds go to charity, or are you going to be selfish and deny it to poor people?
That's true.
I think I'm going to deny it to poor people and just keep it.
Good call.
What if I make a donation in your name?
Nah,
To the
a
Republic
donation to me
Committee.
would be great.
The Xtreme Foundation? Okay. So
But yeah,
if you want the
whatever.
game, how should they reach you?
I don't know. They can comment down below. They can reach out to the show on our discussion page on Facebook. If someone posts on there that they're interested, I'll follow up with it.
Will you take a picture of you holding that we can post, and then they can comment on there?
Sure.
Yeah. And you're like, let's make a deal kind of.
Will you sign your player card?
Yeah, I was gonna say, are you gonna sign player card?
No, then you'll know when it's coming up. You don't want to see that.
No, on the front.
On the front, not on the back.
No, you don't think you'll see that shit? Oh man, I'm gonna look at that card reflection, and I know, this motherfucker's got Weapon Xtreme on the bench.
Let's get number 65.
Sign it with invisible ink and don't tell anyone.
Yeah.
That sounds like a plan.
Comes up under UV light.
Or rub it on your balls, and that way a piece of you is on that card.
I'd recognize that smell anywhere.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
This is extreme smegma on these balls. I haven't heard that word in a while.
That was you, Todd, so you can't recommend the podcast.
I don't give a fuck. We played a league there, and he sold the game there, by the way.
Yes, he did.
He did. He had, I believe, a Techno Bowl end cap that shelf life was maybe a couple of months, and he tried to. I think he sold them out. I don't think he had to blow them out like a Mantic pack on the wall. You know what I mean? I think he sold them all for normal price. So
yeah,
there was that. All right. Well, if you like this episode and you like sports board games, you probably also know about Blood Bowl, Dread Ball, and Blitz Ball. Or maybe not Dread Ball, maybe you do. I don't know. Give it a try. I think, and I'm going to, before we do the final wrap-up, you guys think that we'll cover more board games in the future? Because we talked about doing a board game roundup, not a full episode with ratings, but a game like this would not have been fair to throw this in a board game roundup episode as a just random game. Could we do more of these, you think?
I don't know the whole episode. What board games do all of us play or have interest in playing enough?
If there was one.
If there was one, sure.
If there was. All hypothetical. I mean, for a time like, let's say, trying to think, because sometimes somebody will kickstart a game and bring it out. Like, I've got Blood Rage. I would love to play that with you guys, but something else will always come up above that. That happens with board games. I think miniature gamers do that a lot, where they say, I got this game, but I'd rather play these other ones because I almost cut my thumb off trying to build a model for it, so let's play that game instead. But I think you might see board games more in the future. And at some point, we're going to run out of ideas, and thus we'll have to tap into some things.
And that's also been a thing at Blood Bowl tournaments, too, is the Friday night before the tournament. Usually Saul and other people bring their board games, and that's how I get introduced to a lot of these board games. Is that
usually they become the drinking game version of those games at that time.
Or the, goddamn, I'm tired. Was this game? But yeah.
I'm always down for some extreme death roller racing if he wants to put it on. Saying.
Oh, yeah.
Maybe a game of it. Maybe we'll do an episode on that. Sound good, Xtreme? Yeah, the rules somewhere?
Stupid games that Xtreme plays while everyone's drinking.
Yeah.
Sure.
You got to do something to not get pissed off at Canadians running around your backyard with cucumbers out. Find Zlurpcast on social media at Zlurpcast. Share this episode. Share the quick little clip of it we do. Tell your friends. If you've got gaming friends, if you've got a football friend, a guy at work, you might think this game is cool and say, I'll check it out. You make an offer, Xtreme. Oh, whatever, I lost it. Xtreme can't refuse.
And Tony, if you watch this, comment down below if you like football or not, because I honestly don't know. And
Yeah.
I'm sorry I called you half a man for being a vegan.
People who know us and we consider you friends, let's take that next step and learn something about our friends. Do you like football? Yes or no?
Did we do a final rating?
Oh,
4.25.
thank you, Xtreme. Somebody's paying attention.
Well, I would flash it on the screen. Anyway.
4.25. This is tied for the top rated game of all time, I believe. I believe this game is tied.
Brian can't check because he's on his phone he'll have to wait till after he.
Oh, I can check because he he has Xtreme does this thing where he says, I created something in Google Sheets, but only I can edit it. And I'm always like,
he doesn't trust Greek people.
it's bullshit. It's fucking bullshit.
You're basically gypsies.
Here it is. Oh, there it is. Total ratings, 4.25 for Relic Blade.
Hey, wow.
Highest. Anyone know second highest overall so far? With a 4 overall? The only game with a 4 overall.
Blitzball?
Nope.
Warcry?
No, not even close on that one.
Oh, I don't know.
Super Show.
Oh, okay.
Biran 3 did not soil that one.
Nope. Well, did a little bit.
That's crazy. There's a bunch at 3 3/4, but only one other 4.25 game, Relic Blade. That means Techno Bowl is the top rated game so far that we have reviewed.
Well done.
Yeah.
With that said, somebody buy Xtreme's copy. We all bullshit and said we liked it just so we can sell it. We don't really like it.
That's the whole purpose of this episode.
Exactly. All right. See you next time.
$50.
All right. Bye-bye.
Zlurpcast! Brought to you by Nuffles. Bet you can't just roll a one.